MSNBC founder Tom Rogers, he was on with Mika Brzezinski, kind of give a media executive analysis of the Biden campaign, did not have some very charitable words to the former vice president. Let's take a listen to what he said.
It pains me to say this, it really does, but his performance in being able to come up with a compelling narrative and a passionate storyline that really is ready for primetime election season when it comes to talking about the legacy of Donald Trump of mass death and economic collapse, he's just not there yet. His performances have been very unsatisfying, and basically he's been getting softball interviews with the exception of yours, Mika, on the sexual harassment issues.
Whew,
wow.
From a longtime media executive, of course, he had to give it to Mika there.
Comment is pretty interesting.
He's not ready for prime time. And I love how he's like, it pains me to say this, but
right.
And it's great because this is somebody who's a longtime entertainment executive, founded MSNBC, all that. Is just like, look, objectively, this is bad.
Yeah,
this is very bad.
Well, and he's not the only one who's raising alarms, right? David Axelrod and Plouffe, the Obama guys, Obama architects, they're saying you got to do better. Liz Smith has been out there. Of course, Pete Buttigieg's communications guru saying, like, you got to do more than this. I'm not sure they're right, though. I don't know that he does have to do more than this. If conditions hold, and this is the thing, is he's not there yet. He's not going to be there. What do you think? He's going to suddenly magically transform or drink from the fountain of youth and lose 20 years and be back at his prime? It's not going to happen. So their strategy, I think, is, without an ideology transplant or a, charisma transplant, is the best one you can have, which is just kind of hope that you can ride it out the same way that he did in the primary. And let's be clear, right now it's kind of working.
Yeah,
seniors are looking at the dire circumstances. They're moving away from Trump. Yeah, young people aren't that excited about Joe. Yeah, those same working class minorities who didn't really show up for Hillary Clinton aren't particularly excited about Joe. But you can make up for it with seniors. You can make up for it with, Trump basically shooting himself in the foot, wanting to reopen the economy, even though that's sort of a fantasy.
Right.
It actually could end up working. And I don't know that he has another strategy really realistically available to him.
No,
the other thing.
Certainly. And at the same time, this was actually flagged by the Trump campaign. There was a former senior executive at Comcast, which of course owns NBC News, David Cohen. We'll put the tweet up there. He was at a fundraiser for Joe Biden, and Biden asked him to take questions. If they're hard questions I've got to ask you to answer them. He replied, I would never ask you a hard question. Now, remember, this is somebody who actually had a pretty key role in running MSNBC, NBC News, and was an advisor and I think a chief lobbyist even for Comcast here in Washington, D.C. And
long-time Biden supporter.
Long time, and it's just kind of naked the way that
it's very revealing.
This just revealed. I was like, I would never ask you a hard question. This is a person who ostensibly had a major role in running a massive news organization and lobbying on behalf of that news business and information IT business here in Washington, D.C. You love when the mask slips. It pairs so well with the other side of Tom Rogers being like all the softball interviews, plenty of which have come from NBC. Of course, we played the Nicole Wallace here one, which to me was maybe the most cringy, but on The View, across the networks over at CNN, taking so long to even ask him about Tara Reade's allegations. And yeah, Mika was tougher with him. There's no doubt about that. But she didn't ask him about the corroborating evidence. Right.
They gave, he had given permission for them to focus this interview around the Tara Reade allegations. This was all on his timetable in the way and manner in which he wanted it. And, at some point, you are going to have to actually face Donald Trump, on a debate stage or virtual debate, something. You're going to have to actually answer some tough questions, whether it's from journalists, less likely, or from voters, more likely, or from the Trump campaign, answering their negative ads, which, they're pretty good at putting together.
Which just came out yesterday. And we'll play for something for them for tomorrow. Blanketed the airwaves and online.
Yeah, they're good. They are good at running the negative attack ads that none of the Democrats had the stomach for in the primary. primary, didn't hit him at all, right? And so I guess that's the flaw in the strategy is, you can hope, and definitely the landscape is very different this time than last time around with Hillary Clinton because of the nature of the pandemic and the crisis situation that you're in. You can hope that Donald Trump makes mistakes, but we already see Biden's favorability numbers slipping.
Right.
Because he hasn't effectively answered the Tara Reade allegations, because these Trump negative ads are starting to hit. And that's the piece that didn't exist in the primary. You weren't taking any
incoming fire.
Any incoming fire in the primary. So you can't assume that just like being able to hold on and hope for the best is going to work out.
Certainly.
More Rising for you after this.